There she goes. There she goes. And I Roscoed it. Alright, Cryptids, what is going on? It is me, Mississippi Gonzo Grun, JK with Breadcorn, and welcome to the off-road review collection of the Declasse Impaler, which means all Impalers will get reviewed. So I figured we start with this one, since this one is based off of the 1967 Impala. 67, 66, well, you know, that generation of Impalas. Two-door model, the sports sedan, the super sport model to be exact. It's got different influences from different generations of Impala. But funny enough, back in San Andreas, this was known as the Blade, which did come in a convertible form, but if you went to the Loco Lowrider place over in, over around Grove Street, well, then you knew this would become a hard type or a soft type. Such a shame this one's not a lowrider, but who knows? Maybe Rockstar will turn it into a lowrider in the summer, because they always do the big car update, which I do see a few donks coming out in that. Because some of the customization on this kind of does scream this was supposed to be a lowrider at one point. It is a great dirt road thrower, so yeah, I mean it will throw down on the dirt. When you get the throttle and handbrake combination right, it handles the dirt like it's nobody's business. Because funny enough, me and Slay did have a set like this. Mine, back on the PS4 did look like this. Slay's kind of had the whole racer Dukes of Hazzard thing going on, because he was originally going to do this movie called Fast Cars and Freedom. I say movie, it was supposed to be like an episode thing, but it's still up on his old channel if you want to go check that out, which I will leave that down below. But he doesn't have access to that channel anymore, but he has kicked around the idea of redoing it, so there's that. But basically, it was kind of a mute storytelling thing. Guy trades a car, trades a tractor for a car. Car gets wrecked during the test drive, and now he has to do a series of criminal odd jobs to get it done. That was the general premise of it. And it will not make it across. Well, I think I can get it across. Yep, it will. It can, because, hey, we have wheelies in this game. Which, by the way, if you really want to keep the wheelie stuff to a minimal, that's what the wheelie bar is for. Such as it is. But this was actually one of the best muscle cars to do off-road stuff with. Because, hey, we don't have any of, like the lifted pre-runner style. Yeah, this one is definitely swing it back and just go up around this way. That's in the bushes. Don't do that. Swing it this way. Yeah, this might be a little bit tricky to get across, but that's why I do this Dukes of Hazzard type stuff. Swing it this way. And for Bo Duke. See? Got it out just fine. Kind of worried about that landing back there. It was rather short. But yeah, this was kind of one of the best muscle cars for off-roading. So there is that. I don't like the exhaust. The exhaust take on it. Because it seems like all the exhaust on this car are just kind of lacking. It's like you get a bunch of side pipes, but you don't really get any, any shotgun tubes or all that. You really don't. So it's kind of lacking in that department. And it's also kind of lacking in the bumpers, but that's understandable. I mean, this car did come out years ago. I remember seeing it, and me and Slade were actually excited because they made you know, an Impala. But still, here's to hoping they'll bring back the Savannah in a 2-door and a 4-door variant. You know, who knows? Maybe they'll bring back a 6... Well, I mean, technically the Voodoo's kind of a 64 Impala, but, you know, such as it is. You know, they should definitely release a 4-door variant of the Impaler. Well, of this particular Impaler. You know, such as these things are. You know, that's kind of about my final thoughts on the Impaler, is that it was one of the best muscle cars in the game. It's one of the best muscle cars in the game. Are you going to win races with it? Maybe, if you know how to drive right and, you know, you're in a lobby where everybody's, you know, driving dirty as hell. You know, such as it is. You know, another vehicle you just get just for the customization alone. And I rolled it. Well, I rolled an Impala. I hear the diatribe of angry people in the comments down below, but if you think we need a 4-door version of the Impaler, such as this one, then hey, do comment down below. But other than that, I'm going to go on ahead and jump to the next Impaler, because this is going to be a very long way down as I Roscoe it. You know, I know this is going to make people mad, but I'm going to go ahead and send it like Bo Duke. Just like this. Oh, that landing is going to suck. And it did. So I'm here with the Impaler Arena War version, as you know. It really doesn't matter which Arena War version you get, because they're all aesthetics. So, yeah, that's all I got to really say about it. It's really just aesthetic purposes. There's really no other, you know, no other thing about that. You know, still, Arena War cars will set you back, such as it is. I kind of like how they made this one the drag car look. I mean, it does have the whole drag racer aesthetic going on with the rear. But just imagine if they actually made like a pure drag racing DLC, where you could put, you know, fatter tires on the rear end of your drag racer. I mean, we already got drag races in game, so it makes sense. Drift tuning and a drag tuning. That would actually be better off. And yeah, the top lights don't work. This one's very basic, as I don't have any weapons and that sort of deal. It's just that I don't have any weapons or any sort of, you know, nonsense like that on it. And no, you can't change out the back tires. By no means. You can't change the rims out, but, you know, such as it is. It gets down it just fine. I mean, it climbs. I put the muscle tires on the front because, you know, why not? Well, excuse me. You know, I like how it's doing so far at rock crawling. You know, even though this is just bare basic stuff and steel. Yeah, that's the other thing, too. It will get down. Hey, can it? It does wheelie. I wasn't dare going to take it through deep water because something tells me this one does not like the deep water whatsoever. Kind of another vehicle why I've done it up like this is because this one will definitely be a movie vehicle for the most part. You know, ridiculous as it is. You know, still. So there's that. But yeah. And no, the top lights really don't work on it. Bummer as that is. But, you know, Rockstar does tend to get lazy whenever they, you know, don't really make... They tend to get lazy on certain vehicles when it comes down to the light fixtures. I mean, the Everon's like that. Which that video is set to be uploaded soon. As the time this one goes up, it is the day before Oscar Guzman flies again, which I hope to have that over said and done with. Yeah, the scoop's going to cause problems, so we might as well just head on around. So there is that. Such as it is. And everything else under the sun. You know, I have to come back and rethink this because it's being a little bit difficult, but at first you don't succeed, try again. And there it is. Yeah, for some reason it did not like climbing the wall. It absolutely hated it. It kept spinning out. So there's that problem. And, you know, I don't want to be stuck here too long, you know, trying to record this nonsense. So there is that. Nobody wants to be spending, you know, too long trying to, you know, get the nonsense recorded. Because I do enjoy, you know, making the off-road review. And I enjoy live streaming too, which, you know, I do have one live stream up as the time is this going up. I'll hope to be doing one, you know, after I get finished recording this. I'll probably do that after supper because according to Diesel, all the good old boys will be off work at that time. Get out of the weeds. But yes, I still have the Impaler that I reviewed first. You know, I just bought another one just to have two because I didn't feel like doing another one. You know, kind of a waste of money at that point. You know, some people say, oh, it's a waste of money. You should have just customized the other one to be an Arena War vehicle. But I'm like, no. For what reason? Because I wanted to. And that's me Roscoeing it. But yes. That's the other thing too on dirt. This thing will get all kinds of loose. It gets loose in the rear end. Which I find hilarious. But in terms of, you know, climbing, much like the regular Impaler, its ride height does tend to be an issue. Can you off-road with it? Yes, but I don't recommend doing that. And that's the other thing too. Do be easy on the gas, because if not, it's very torquey in the rear. Whole lot of torque in the rear end, so you do have to watch that. Because when that torque starts kicking, you do have to watch it, because if not, you'll spin it out, or, you know, just like that, you'll spin it out. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into the next Impaler, because this one's going to be quite a while for me to get down off the mountain. But yeah, I did leave the scoop on it for aesthetic purposes, because, you know, just for that purpose alone. I mean, you do put bigger scoops on this. But I kind of learned my lesson from the Dominator incident. Which, that one's actually done. I just got to schedule that one for uploading. But that one's damn near an hour long. So, you'll be enjoying some hour-long off-road stuff. But other than that, let's go ahead and jump into the next Impaler. Holy shit. What a punt kick. Ew. And it blew up. Here we are with the Impaler LX, which this is actually the Great Box Chevy as we all know it. Kind of got the mixture of that first wave from 77 to 79 in the rear. Well, it also has that box Impala look from, you know, from the 80s, because they stopped making the Impala in 85. So it does kind of have those square lights in the back. And it does have the front end of it does kind of have the Euroclip front end. But I actually like box Chevys. Favorite Chevrolet of all time, the box Chevy. Or if you grew up, you know, like I did in the 2000s, then, you know, you wanted one because all the rappers had a box Chevy. Seems like every rapper back then had a box Chevy. You know, Yellow Wolf has them, which is understandable. I mean, the man makes references to box Chevys throughout every song that he does. And particularly the 79. So there's that. But what I really like about this one is that this thing's got some impressive performance. You know, it's got impressive performance. And it does have some... Come on, throw it this way. Yep, and there it goes. It burns tires like nobody's business. But I better go back down. See, I busted a headlight. Trust me, we've all seen box Chevys, and plus that, I'll just say this. Whoever told y'all box Chevys were worth $8 grand for a rusted shell, you're an idiot. You know, it could have gotten up there, but I'm not worried. Yeah, I'm off-roading a box Chevy. Would you get a load of that? Now, you know they're going to make a donk version of this in GTA 6. You know they're going to do that. You know they're going to make the big tire version of this in GTA 6. Or they might go on ahead and release one in the summer. Because they always put all the big car updates in the summer. Yes, I put a Dukes of Hazzard horn in it. I kind of made mine look like a Landau. The full type. There is the LS versions of these, which have, you know, the half... Well, it has that fiberglass piece in the rear. Those tend to go for a lot more. For what reason? I can't answer that. Of course, you want to talk about something ridiculous on Facebook Marketplace? I saw a guy selling a 4-door 76 Impala, you know, glass house. It was the 4-door version. That one, he wanted 10 grand for it, and the thing was rusted to hell and back. And it's like, who told you this car was worth 10 grand? And then when I see the type of, you know, plus that, I like to, you know, be a little bit nosy. Because, you know, some people on Facebook Marketplace, they just stupid and they leave their shit all open. Their profiles open. And then I kind of figured out why he was selling it for 10 grand. It's like, oh, that explains a lot. It's expected what you would have, you know, I would make the, you know, the joke, but I'm not. Because I don't feel like making people mad. But yes, I do love bike Chevys, and particularly I love the 9C1s. Why? Those were better performance all the way. Well, I wouldn't say better performance, they were just more stout. Because you know them cop cars, they had reinforced frames and everything. And it makes it a cross! I almost like to have Roscoe'd it. Came close to Roscoe in it. But yeah, I've been having fun with this one because I'm not going to use this one for a movie. I just had it because I wanted one. You know, such as it is. But, you know, something tells me that Rockstar is definitely going to make, like, either a lowrider or a donk version come out in the summer. Which, you know, some people, they tend to hear that and they're like, oh, well, why would Rockstar do that? It's Rockstar. I know their MO by this point. And by their MO, I mean, you know, I kind of figured out how they do stuff. And that's kind of like, they always release all the big car updates in the summer because everybody, you know, summertime's just when all the good cruising crap happens. And oh yeah, by the way, this thing on dirt, watch this. It enjoys the dirt. If you get the brake and throttle combination down right, this thing will just book it across dirt. Which can come in handy, especially when, you know, running from oppressors and stuff. Or those, or, you know, tryhards with Anamitech vehicles. So you kind of have to watch out for them. I have taken many people down the Raton Canyon only for them to, you know, get their Anamitech vehicles destroyed. It's like, you're not going to catch me on this canyon path. Me and Slade spent enough time sending cars down through here that no one's going to catch us. Why did we run for the country? Well, because it was funny. You know, most people can't drive on dirt in this game. And like, I was playing a heist with, you know, kind of unrelated, but I was playing a heist with some people last night. And none of them could ride motorcycles. And it's like, you mean to tell me you're a level 300 and you can't do... You know, you can't drive a motorcycle? It was on the Pacific Standard heist, so there's that. But other than that, this one right here, this one will take you places. This one will definitely take you places, but I have this one, you know, strictly for, you know, because I wanted it, you know. When it comes down to the price of the vehicles in this game, do I recommend getting them? No. I always say, you know, get them at your own risk. You know, you can't get mad at me if I don't recommend them. But you also can't get mad at me if you buy them yourself. So, you know, discretion is advised. Where's my license plate? I lost my license plate. Ain't that some shit? Well, but other than that, I'm going to go ahead and wait until morning. You know, I'm just going to go ahead and wait until morning until, you know, all this other stuff checks out. So, I guess whenever it comes back, I will be waiting until morning and I will continue reviewing said cars. So, other than that, let's go ahead and jump to morning. Okay, so let's try this again because hey, we're going to be here at a while. So this one's going to be a definite jump across. And we did the same shit again. So finally, it is morning as I am here with the Impaler SZ, which is the Impala SS from '96. Yeah, that car. I remember when that commercial came out. It's like, excuse me, Lord Vader, your car's ready. And we got this, but yeah. Pretty much a classic. Very big classic, as you can tell by the interior. And it does have the floor shifter in it, as far as I know. Let's see. Does it? Open the door back up. Yeah, it does. It has the shifter in it. I wanted to be sure. Even though I could have, selected the door opener, but, still. They need to give us an option where we can roll the windows down. This is another car that is a very classic in hip-hop, as, when it came out, it just took off. Granted, it wasn't the Hellcat of the day, but, it was very well popular. Another car that a lot of rappers have, the good old bubble Chevy. Of course, you can make this look like the Caprice from the same year, if you wanted to. But, if you can't afford an Impala SS, a 96 Impala SS, you can always afford the old 9C1 bubbles. Well, the 9C1 from 96, because, nobody really wanted them. And this one absolutely climbs like an absolute monster. But yeah, all kinds of other stuff. All kinds of stuff, as you can see. As I'm hitting trees. You don't really see too many of these in racing games. I mean, this one was in Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition, but but we never got a box Chevy in any, Midnight Club games itself. Such as it is. Such as it is, we never got any... Excuse me, we never got any box Chevys in, the Midnight Club games. This one I actually did have in Midnight Club. This one was in Midnight Club 3 if you could win it. I want to say you either had to buy it or you had to win it. I'm pretty sure you had to buy it. I could be wrong because it's been a while since I've played Midnight Club 3. But I do have it on the PS2. And yet some of you ask, why would you have that game on the PS2? Well, I like to have physical media. I don't trust emulators or that sort of nonsense because hey, it just takes the soul away from it, from playing on an actual PS2. And there goes the hood. And the grill. Huh, it looks like it's got an LS in it. Hey, check it out. I LS swapped it. I say it looks like a LS. It kind of also looks like a Coyote, too. I just had the most brilliant idea. Or the most brilliant idea that's going to get me absolute hate. What if someone took one of these Impalas, like the 96, but like find one that's a roller, and they put in the Coyote? I hear the diatribe typing right now. There's going to be a bunch of angry dudes in the comments going, don't you dare. Back it up, back it up, back it up. Thank you. It's got torque. Torque in the handling. Click, clack. Just like that. This thing definitely got some power behind it. I'll just say that. This thing's got all kinds of power. But, in terms of, like, racing and muscle-wise, it's not exactly in the top performing, but it's not exactly in the lowest performing either. It's, like, in between rankings. Which, it just depends on that. Yes, I actually would put a General Lee horn off in a 96 Impala. But also, this thing can run dirt roads very well, I might add. Because this is actually my first time driving it on a dirt road. And it will book it. It absolutely buckets. It books, it turns around, and it accelerates. You know, I'd like to see one of these become a rally racer. And I know there's probably those guys over in Sweden and Finland that they will actually rally race one of these vehicles. I mean, do keep in mind, there's video of Finnish dudes absolutely rally racing a Ford Starliner from the 60s. And that is not a little car by no means. It's like, they ain't rally racing, they hauling moonshine, but that's beside the point. So my overall thoughts on this particular Impaler is that, you know, body-wise I like it because, you know, I mean, this vehicle is going to be in GTA 6 anyway. And you know they're going to put the big rims on this one. Because I know, because, you know, every time you do see one of these, and, you know, like if someone has the money to buy one of these, they put the rims on it. I'm talking about the big, big rims. They putting the big boy rims on it. You know, such as it is. I have seen these things on everything from 24s to 28s. I think someone put 30s on one not too long ago and they were racing it. But yeah, one of the things I will say is that when people usually get these cars, they take those LTs out of them because those things, the LTs from back in the 90s were not that great. That OptiSpark system was kind of yeah, I've heard stories about it. Even though those things are cheap to replace, you know, it's kind of robbed of performance. You know, that's all I'll say on that. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and jump into the final two Impalers. And yes, I said the final two because I do have both of the cop cars. So let's jump right into it. Heh, there they go. There goes 1 and 2. They both Roscoed it. So here I am with the LX Impaler, which is the cop car, which is based off the 9C1 models. But yeah, this is how mine somewhat looks, because I do have a 9C1 myself. It just ain't running at the moment. Why? A little bit of problem with the carburetor. So yeah, I'm trying to get that problem solved. Could be dirty. You know, it could be a number of things of why it's making, you know, why it's not really, you know, doing its job right, I should say. But yeah, if you actually do manage to get a hold of one of these box Chevy 9C1s, do keep them. Because they are not half bad. Because they did come with the bigger rear end. Because like with the standard ones, they have the 7.5. Well, these have the 8.5. But, you know, it's got drum brakes. You know, drum brakes ain't bad as long as you know how to adjust them. So there is that. But yeah, I know some people are going to complain about the price of the cop cars in game. But nobody's sticking a gun to your head forcing you to buy them. You get them because you want them. Which, you know, there are those guys in the police community. Well, the role-playing community that they have these. Which, you know, they're perfectly happy and content. And I know they're happy for this part, you know, where you can cut the siren off, but the lights are still going. Let's not Roscoe it. But yeah, this one, I'm only collecting the cop cars because I'm using them for, you know, movie purposes. Because I am trying to do a TJ Hooker, Fall Guy type movie, which will feature all the cop cars plus a few extra stars. So we are going to have that. So that is a big thing. Let's take it easy. I will say this, the cop cars do have the better handling and the better throttle response compared to, you know, their standard civilian counterparts. So there is that. And yeah, I don't have off-road tires on this because I'm lazy. Because I really wasn't planning on doing a review of these cars. But I said, you know what? I got all of them. I might as well do it just to pass the time. But yeah, I'm pretty much recording all this in one day. See if I can swing this up and around. Easy does it. There she goes. Nice and easy, nice and easy, nice and easy. Up and over we go. And there she is. There she goes. Nice and easy. And shoot across. You know, not half bad on the rock crawling part. And that's just with the street tires on it. So there is that. So it is rather, you know, stack built for the most part. Oh, don't Roscoe it. Flip it back. I thought I was about to Roscoe it for a moment. And I hit somebody. Well, excuse me anyway. Yeah, one thing I will say about this one is that this one can take on dirt just fine. Because when I first got this, the first thing I wanted to do was take it down on dirt to see how it handles. Because we are going to be doing a lot of stunts on dirt roads. And a lot of stunts on, you know, a bunch of other places. And it's also very durable. I mean, it can take a beating for the most part. But, you know, that's how police usually drive these cars. They beat the hell out of them. That's what they do. They beat the hell out of them. Which is kind of expected. I mean, it's a cop car, you know. Expect them to be driven like they were stolen. Especially them highway interceptor models. Good lord. But I will say this, a little fun fact about mine is that when I got it, somebody swapped the rear end out. So it had like, so I knew the rear end wasn't original, so I took it out. And I put in a disc brake rear end from a 96 9C1. You know, granted, that was easier said than done. Actually, no, it wasn't from a 9C1, it was from an SS. Somebody was selling a rear end from an Impala SS, so I ended up buying that. And there's me crashing. But other than that, let's go ahead and jump into the final Impaler, which will be the 9C1 version of the bubble. So let's jump to it. And now I'm Roscoeing it. Up there they go, just Roscoeing it all over the joint. Oh well, time for me to jump across. Here we are with the final Impaler, which is the Impaler Cruiser. This is the Impaler SZ Cruiser, which, you know, I didn't have any other cop cars with lights on it, but I figured, you know, I'm going to make it look like this, you know, because why not? And plus that this one is going to be used in a movie, so, yeah. Plus that, all the lights do work on it. So you do have that. That is a big plus. It is kind of stiff on the handling, so do watch it. I find that funny how it's very loose on the handling when you have very little speed, but when you start picking up speed, forget it. But we all know this is based off of the 9C1 Caprices from 94 to 96. You know, the 9C1 variants of that. Which, you know, if you can still get a 9C1 variant, please do get them. Because they're damn near, they're almost as great, if not better, than the Impala SS. And I do say that genuinely. But yeah, this one's definitely going to be used in a movie, so there is that. Kind of a big plus. It's got the torque. It's got all the torque in the world. So, you know, it is, you know, it's a big deal. Excuse me. Big plus matters. So there is that. I took this one around and I did thrash it a little bit. Just to see how easily damaged it could get. Because, you know, you all want to see cop cars whenever they wreck in movies. Say, you know, body panels go flying everywhere. I mean, we all grew up watching Dukes of Hazzard. So, you know, every time Roscoe and Enos would hit that pipe ramp and they'd flip it, what would happen? Well, things would fall off. So there is that. But yeah, I kind of put the full wraparound bar on this one because, you know, this one is going in that cop film I was talking about, you know, just a few vehicles ago. So there is that. Kind of a big plus matter. But, you know, after the review, I will talk about which one's my favorite. You know, which one I really liked for off-roading. And, you know, so forth and so forth. But, yes. This one... You know, and plus that, I know I'm kind of sounding like a broken record at this point, but, you know, when it comes down to the pricing of the cop cars, if you want to buy one, then be my guest. But, you know, I kind of buy some of the stuff in-game because, you know, I'm using it for movie purposes. So it's like, okay, I can grind. I can do a nightly grind. Make some money on Cayo Perico. Clucking Bell, and, you know, hopefully there'll be some decent money made out of this new heist that's coming out. I still need to get the core kit and the car kit and the gauntlet. Well, the cop cars of those, because I have yet to finish those particular collection videos. But like I said, I'm only doing collection videos. That's probably the farthest I ever jumped a car from that. You know, the furthest I've ever, you know... Yeah, I've been working on, you know, a lot of collection videos for a while now. I got some made, but I still have some I just need to, you know, go on ahead and shove out and say, here you go, here's for your viewing pleasure. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about is, me driving like Roscoe. Oh yeah, also, another little fun fact. Alright, another little fun fact is this. You can actually see the cage in it. So there is that. Swing around, please. And we're going to go ahead and cut the lights on. But yeah, this is the other thing too. On dirt, do watch it, because if not, it's real easy not only to spin out, but to also to flip it. But you kind of expect that driving a cop car. You know, you kind of want the cops to, you know, drive like Roscoe the Coltrane. Because it is funny whenever you see a cop car go completely... You know, trying to catch somebody. You know, and this is in movies. You know, guy driving the getaway car, you know, he slides it. The cop car, you know, tries to avoid him and he pipe ramps it off something. You know, that's kind of the one reason why you want to see it. But now I will talk about, you know, so far as this one goes, out of the cop cars, this one's by far my favorite. Just by far alone, it is my favorite, next to the Outreach and the Dominator, which, you know, I will be getting around to uploading the Dominator review soon enough. So there is that. So I do have other stuff. I really do need to get around to uploading the other shorts that I have. I do have another short made, and those are the shorts from the live stream I did previously, which that would be the NASCAR one, because I do plan on live streaming, you know, at the time of this recording, I probably have already live streamed, but if not, oh well. So there's always pluses and minuses to everything. Now, out of all the Impalers that I like for off-roading, the LX by far gets it down patent. Because it has it's just something about the suspension setup where it just floats over dirt, it floats over rocks, it floats over a lot of stuff. Floats over a lot of stuff, for that matter. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here, just so that way you can get a good look at it. Beat up, damaged, whatever. So far, it's like when it comes down to damage, you know, I do like that trunk design on the back. That look kind of looks like something you would see, you know, some redneck get, but that's beside the point. Hell, it looks like something that me and Slade would get. But other than that, my least favorite, dropping the controller. My favorite is the LX, just for the suspension setup alone. My least favorite is the Arena War Impaler. But, you know, if we're going to go in order, the standard LX, the cruiser variant, the SZ, and its cruiser variant, the Impaler, and then the Impaler, and then there's the Impaler Arena War variant, which that's my order from best to worst. So other than that, shoot the like button with a grip skiddly if you enjoyed it. Please do comment down below your favorite Impala Caprice year models. You know, who knows? Maybe we'll get an Impaler that looks like the Donk. Well, it looks like the 71 to 76 Impalas. Or we might get another 6.4 or another, you know, an Impaler that looks like a 67 four-door. You know, there's hope. You know, do comment that. You know, whatever you would like to see. Any collection ideas you have thrown out, you know, please do suggest them. I do take suggestions, but if I, you know, and that just really depends if I get around to it. Because there's some of them I might have already recorded, and then there's some that I haven't. So other than that, please do smash the subscribe button today and click the notification bell icon, because I have finally got around to live streaming. I know. This whole time it's like, he hasn't live streamed yet. Well, now I have. You can go check out the live tab and see that I have a live stream. You know, NASCAR Dirt to Daytona, which I will try to do another one. But, you know, other than that, y'all have a great day and a balling weekend. Don't do anything stupid. And for heaven's sakes, don't drive like Roscoe. You know, especially not in these bubbles in these boxes. Just don't. Unless you really want extreme heat. But other than that, y'all take care. All the ridiculousness. Oh, look, I'm about to do... Yep, there she goes. I'm about to send it. Yeah, let's send it. That's a nice corkscrew. That is a tree. And there I go.